Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than the pioneer and great worker and helper in the cause of Islam, Sister Phyllis. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Well, alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you, Sister Phyllis, for
Joshua.
always being kind to myself, my family, the believers. Shout out to you. I mean, so much more we can say. We'll deal with Muhammad University and all of the work that you've done and continue to do. But we thank Allah for you and your family, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And I
Yes,
thank Allah for you and your family as well.
all praises due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Now, the first question that we have for you, ma'am, is everyone is talking in from Manhattan to Staten Island to Queens, uh, uh,
The Bronx.
all of the boroughs are talking. Everyone on the train, everyone keeps saying, you gotta get ready to go to Brooklyn this month. There's a huge event. Can you let us know what everyone is speaking about, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But first thing is in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, and there's no God but Allah. I believe
Oh,
there's no God but Allah who came in the person of Master Muhammad. And we thank him for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them both for leaving with us the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I just want to greet you again with Assalamu alaikum.
walaikum salam, ma'am.
Yes, sir. The buzz is going around. We're having an event. It's actually in Queens.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
it's a Brooklyn Muhammad Ma 7C event, and it's our Black Tie Gala fundraiser.
Mm, mm.
Okay, so everyone knows what a fundraiser is.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Well, yes, ma'am. The question that a lot of people are asking is, can you let's go back to the earliest time of Brooklyn and 7C. What does 7C mean for those who are watching who may not understand the number and letter
Okay.
situation?
Well, 7C is an offshoot of number seven. Okay, and number seven, Muhammad Mas number seven, is in Harlem.
Mm,
And that's where the first number seven was. Then there were offshoots. 7B is in Queens. So
mm,
we
mm.
do have a Queens mosque up and running right now. All praises due to Allah.
Oh, praise to Allah.
So 7C is in Brooklyn. Okay. And then there was 7D, which I believe was in the Bronx.
Mm,
And
mm,
it just kept going all up to R. And up to R were 18. We had 18 offshoots from number seven. And from
oh,
my history, it was Minister Farrakhan. Like I know Brother Malcolm had something to do with it as well. But when I came in 1973, my husband had brought our family into the temple at that time. We had those 18. And well, we were growing and growing, but there was, it was just beautiful to see that we could go anywhere in New York City and find a Muhammad's temple at that time. Yes, sir.
all praises to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And people are sending love and positive energy to you, Sister Phyllis, all around the world.
All
Uh,
praise to
Alaikum
Allah.
salam. And our brother out of Mexico says hola from Delaney Muhammad in Mexico.
Hola.
Hola. Yes, that's right. Buenos dias. Yes, ma'am. And Sister Amina Hanan says ASA family. Alaikum salam, Sister Amina. And thank you to all of our YouTube family who continues to show love and positive and send positive energy. Now, Sister Phyllis, let us go back to 1973. Help
Yes,
for
sir.
people like myself who love history and people who watch the people's podcast. You're
Hmm.
in, you go from Harlem, there's the Apollo, then you got Queens, then let's go to Brooklyn because that's the focus today. Let us
Right.
know what it was like in 1973 to be in the temple, Muhammad's temple in Brooklyn.
It was absolutely wonderful. When I first went in and heard the teachings, I accepted right away.
Mm, mm,
I was received with so much love by the sisters, and I was taught a lot. I was taught. I wasn't really a good cook, but I
mm.
learned how to cook. I learned how to bake. Already knew how to sew, but I learned how to sew. Our garments. I was able to make our uniforms. I made pantaloons and tams for the girls, at the MUI. I was also, because our children had gone to the Muhammad University of Islam, I was the mother who picked up the boys
Mm,
in the neighborhood to bring them, and I say the neighborhood because right in our neighborhood in Crown Heights, we had a number of boys that would
mm,
go to Muhammad University of Islam. So I would pick them up and bring them to school and then bring them back home. And the girls came in the afternoon. So that was one thing. The other thing that really stands out for me was the idea that we had businesses, all throughout Brooklyn. We had steak and takes, we had a warehouse where we stored our fish. You know, we had a food co-op. There was just everything that you needed to survive was there. We really didn't need the white man for anything.
mm.
It seemed like everybody in the temple had a business. And like I hear the minister today talk about the businesses, and he said businesses really start in the mosque. And
Mm,
he said that we should start small and grow big. Okay, that's the way to do it. And I can tell you that that's how it happens because I myself, I never vended before in my life until I came to Temple number 7C. And
yes,
my
ma'am.
lieutenant, Lieutenant Evelyn, had taught me how to vend, because I was making I'm sorry, my phone is disturbing me. Because I knew how to sew. She taught me, she taught me how to bake. I knew how to make carrot cakes and banana bread, bean pies. I learned how to clean fish and cook fish, but I wasn't
Mm.
like a real great cook at the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I learned how to make the bean soup. So those were the things that we sold on our vending table. So
Mm.
when I learned that, then we were vending for our squad, and then we were also able to vend for ourselves. And that's where my business has started, right off of a vending table. And to this day, I still make headpieces and skirts.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am, Sister Phyllis.
Yes,
All
sir.
praises to Allah. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to stay right there. Just want to read some of the comments. Sister Amy writes, says ASA family, Walaikum salam, ma'am. Flint, Michigan, 147. Thank you for always showing love. Sister Sandra Muhammad says, Assalamu alaikum, such a wonderful historian, such a wealth. Thank you, Walaikum salam, ma'am. And Sister Naima Muhammad says, Walaikum salam, family. Thank you, Walaikum salam, Naima.
Alaikum salam, family.
Yes, ma'am. Now, for you, I want to go back to the laborers. Who were the laborers in 1973? What were their names, and what was the sisterhood like?
Okay. So our MGT captain was Sister Amina Rasul,
Yes,
who was
ma'am.
personally taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And she was a beautiful sister. May Allah be forever pleased with her.
Yes, ma'am.
I came in when my husband and I came in, we had two young children at the time. And I wanted to join the Vanguard because I
Mm.
was Vanguard age.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But then she told me, no, ma'am, your first posts are those children. So I
Mm.
had to go into a mother's class. And I wasn't upset. It was the way she sat me down and spoke to me to let me know that, that wasn't something because, coming from the world, you want to do what you want to do. You want
Mm.
to send your children to your parents, you want to go hang out, you want to, do all of that. And they're
Yes, ma'am.
young. And really, I, I should be home with them.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I was able to be home with them, because my husband worked and, we had an apartment and everything. So I was able to be home with them. So I had learned the 7 units, how to keep house, how to rear your children, how to take care of your husband, sew and cook,
Mm.
and how to act at home and how to act abroad. So I was
Yes,
learning
ma'am.
those units and it kicked in, with me rearing my children. So she sent me to a mother's class. And in the mother's class, that's where you learn how to rear your children. That is something that, we're um, coming into right now. Like we're going to have a how to rear your children's class
Mm.
pretty soon. All praises due to Allah.
Wonderful. Yes, ma'am. Now, sister, and people are bear witness in the comments. Now, Sister Phyllis, we want to ask you what what did you learn in the mother's class prior to 75? Some of the teaching that you learned from and training from Sister Captain Amina Rasul, that you think the new generation should hear from?
Yes, yes, sir. Well, the first thing is to teach them prayer and to
Mm,
teach them, to love Allah and that to seek refuge in Him when there's no one else around.
Allahu
It
Akbar.
was also to look at them as just young people rather than, these are your children that you own. Like they are ours, but, you talk to them in such a way where they'll understand and they'll be able to go off on their own. You
Mm, mm,
teach them how to be independent. You teach them how to take care of their personal belongings, their clothing, their room, all of those things. You teach them when you go shopping how to conduct themselves, in the public, where they're not wild running around or anything like that, because there's a time and place for that. And like to let them have their energy, we take them to playgrounds or take them to museums or take them
mm,
places where they can learn. The main thing was to get them curious about learning, answer all of their questions, because sometimes children ask a lot of questions. It's always that why this and why that, but try to answer it to the best of your ability. And if you can't, get back to them on it, you
mm,
know.
mm,
And when you're helping your children to learn, a lot of times they'll take that and they'll fly with it. And the next thing
mm.
you know, they're coming back teaching you things. So that was one of the ways.
All praise to Allah. Beautiful. And thank you, Sister Phyllis, for your great information. People are bearing witness and saluting and saying that's right and
Okay.
powerful, sister. All praise due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. So, 1975, before 1975, did the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad ever visit Brooklyn? Did he ever come? Did you all ever get a chance to see him in New York in the 2 years that you were registered in the temple?
He did visit New York, but I came in 1973, so I think he has stopped like traveling like that.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I never saw him like in New York, but I know he did come to New York, but I just wasn't there for that.
Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. All praise due to Allah.
So,
Can you let us know? And once again, we salute you and your family for all of your sacrifices. Thank Allah for you all and to help establish Islam here in North America. Can you let us know? And the main thing is we have a trial coming with the Most Honorable Farrakhan. He would depart,
yes.
and you all have experienced that with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What was it like with the departure of the messenger, and what advice would you give to us helping to prepare for the minister's departure?
Well, the advice first is seek refuge in Allah.
Mm,
That's the advice. But the spirit during that time was, it was like we all just couldn't believe it when we heard it on the news, and we were always taught that, when someone else gives you news to look deeply into it.
yes,
So
ma'am.
we all just never believed them, and it
Mm,
wasn't until we had gotten to the mosque, the temple that day, because it was the day before Savior's Day that he departed. And that next day we were all going to Savior's Day. So we were going to the temple, and that's when we found out that yes, he actually did depart.
mm,
So I don't know. All of a sudden, like when I heard that from our minister at the time, it was Brother Bashir,
mm.
Minister Arthur 14X at the time.
Okay.
Um, then it became real. And when it became real to me, I felt like I was like in a bubble. I felt like nothing else existed except us and what was going on with us. And
Mm,
that was
mm,
from the time that we heard about it until we went on through to Savior's Day.
mm.
But we traveled as a mosque. So we chartered, and as a city, we traveled as a
Yes, ma'am.
city at that time.
Mm,
So we
mm,
chartered a plane, and the plane was nothing, it was filled with nothing but Muslims. But those of us who were in the Nation of Islam. And we went straight to Chicago and we went into the arena. When I got into that arena and I saw like all of the people there, I just felt like that arena. To me, if like in hindsight, it seems like that's what the mother plane would be like if it
mm,
had an
mm.
audience full of people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because it was just us. It was just us. But the words that the minister gave us, really consoled me. So I just felt okay, even though Warrith Muhammad, was now the chief minister. Um, I didn't know how that was going to work, but being that Minister Farrakhan said that, he will follow him as long as he continued with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So that was fine with me.
Mm,
It's just a part of getting through the fact that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had departed.
beautiful. Yes, ma'am. I'm so glad that you were able to withstand that and your family is still here when we lost so many during that.
Well, it was kind of difficult because things did change. The
Mm,
minister said that as long as he kept with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but things changed, and what changed immediately was the temple. Now, we would invite guests, and our people, were in the church. So you're in the church, you got chairs. The only difference with us is that we do have chairs, but brothers on one side and sisters on the other.
yes, ma'am.
And we knew that our people could, they could handle that. But when I saw all the prayer rugs, when I came back, and I'm saying, what is this? Because if we were going to go out there fishing for our people, how am I going to bring them to a prayer rug when not to say that we never did prayer on a prayer rug or anything, but that wasn't like the norm. And being that I was new, because I'm 2 years in,
Yes, ma'am.
um, I couldn't understand it. So it had been an engram for me, like seeing a prayer rug was an
Mm.
engram for me for a while until 2010 when the minister brought auditing to us and the prayer rug kept coming up. So, but I don't have a problem with it now because I understand it. But at that time, because we were limited in our Islam. We didn't do everything that they did in the East. Because our Ramadan was only in December.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did that because it was the shortest days of the year, and he
Yes,
knew
ma'am.
that we could handle an hour of fasting. But it was just to condition us. He knew what was to come, but he
Allah.
had to give us what we can handle. Like you have to feed a baby milk before you can give it crackers.
Yes,
I'm not
ma'am.
meat. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Okay, great. We're gonna stay right there, Sister Phyllis.
Hmm.
People are bear witnessing, saying, "Teach those prayers are powerful. Seek refuge in Allah." That's right. Thank you all to everyone who was watching. All right, now we're gonna. I want to come back to the prayer work situation, but we have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you all to everyone who's watching, and we look forward to the building fund and so much stuff coming forward. One moment. Sister Phyllis, we love you and just thank you so much for always showing love to us.
All praises due to
And
Allah.
thank you to
Love
everyone
you
who's
too.
watching. Yes, ma'am. 1 moment. Sister Naima, Stay on Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Perfect. 1 second. As well as S Enterprise, barber and beauty products. They have a plant based brush wave company. Their website is culturewave.com with a K, culturewave.com 770-997-6000. Brother Jeffrey Searcy Muhammad, Sister Stephanie Lasan Muhammad. They are in Africa working on trade and commerce as we speak. Thank you all very much. Let's make sure we support all of the sponsors. And please let us know which city you all are watching from so we can continue to, there we go, boom, to tap in and let us know if you have any guest suggestions. Um, Speaking of the prayer rug, that's something that I heard during the rebuilding. A lot of believers prior to 75 and just people who there was a when after the fall, after the departure of the Most High Elijah Muhammad, that was very sore for many believers how it took place. How in 2010, how were you able to heal from that wound?
Yeah, well, getting back to the prayer rug, and what had happened is that it was like that next, it was like 1 week we're in the temple, as normal, as we normally are.
Yes, ma'am.
The next week there were no chairs at all. And it was like when you looked, you were devastated. It's like I was just devastated to look around and see, like, well, where did all the chairs go?
Mm, mm,
And then to to find out that we're no longer going to have chairs, that we're
mm,
going to now be on a prayer rug. Well, that was devastating for me, because of what I said before. Like when we went fishing. Our people were Christian. They weren't used to a prayer rug, and I wasn't used to a prayer rug. So how do I get my people to come into the temple now on a prayer rug?
mm, mm,
That was like it just looked so foreign. I mean, not that it's foreign now, but at that time. So it was like I think the moment I went in and saw that and found out that we were no longer going to have chairs, I think that affected me so much, that I couldn't get over it. I don't know. It
mm,
was just something that just bothered me. And so as time went on, and after the messenger departed in February, I had left in August of
mm,
75. So
mm, mm,
I really didn't stay that long afterwards. And someone has said to me, and it was like a reputable person, had told me that, when I said, well, where's Minister Farrakhan? Because I couldn't understand why all of this was happening, all these changes were happening, and they said, oh, well, he left the nation.
mm,
So when I heard that, and I believed that person, and only because I saw the changes myself, then I left. You know,
mm, mm, mm.
my husband stayed. He kind of followed Wallace for a little while. I shouldn't say Wallace. I should say Warrith Muhammad. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
that was disrespectful. But that's how I felt at that time. But anyway, so as time went on, we did take a fall. We fell back in the world because it was like, where else were we going to go? My husband and I started going back to the clubs and all of that. But it wasn't until one day that I sent my younger son out to school and I told him, have a good day, because now there was no more Muhammad University. They had to go to public school.
Mm,
And he
mm,
said, and this was Lamar, I said, oh, have a good day. And he said, Assalamu alaikum. And he was saying it like, he didn't want to lose, Islam, And then I said, oh, wa alaikum salam. And then that's when I knew from that point that I had to keep my house a Muslim household. So I let my
mm,
husband know that, we can't be hanging out and doing all of this. So we started inviting people over, like our family and, friends. We would invite over rather than go out. We
mm,
would
mm.
just do things in the house. So okay, so we're getting to the point of what? Of the all right, I'm done with the prayer rug.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am. So I got you right here. So first of all, beautiful. Thank you for your transparency and honesty. It means so much to us that you are speaking like this. And we're gonna come back to Brother Lamar real quick. People are bearing witnessing all praise due to Allah, their love and history. For those who are watching, Brother Lamar, her son, as a great helper, of course, to her family, like the other children, but he helped me. I graduate next month, inshallah, and I was panicking, dealing with some financial aid stuff and some files. And I reached out to Sister Phyllis. She said, my son can help you. And praise be to Allah. So Phyllis,
Oh,
thank
thank
you. And,
you so
and
much.
salute to Brother Lamar for looking out. So it wasn't for that, because I was panicking. And Brother
All
Lamar
praises
was able
to
to assist
Allah.
me. I never met him, don't know how he looked, don't know nothing, but he's just a believer and a brother. So thank you for looking out, Brother Lamar. May Allah
Yes,
continue to bless you and
sir.
your family.
Yeah, I
Okay,
have a sister that can help also. So, if anyone's in touch with me
okay.
that
Thank
assist
you, thank you. Yes,
well.
ma'am. Everybody use your resources. Don't panic.
That's right. That's right. That's what we're all about.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now what after 1975? When did you say you wanted to help rebuild the work of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? What was it about you?
Good.
When did that happen? How did that come about?
Okay, so In 1977, by that time it was like now time because Lamar was in school full time, and now it was time for me to like try to get a job or something because I was, an at-home mom.
mm, mm,
And I did, I started searching for work. I took the transit test. I scored 100. And I also applied for Long Island University. My husband's friend, friend Joe Graham, had knew someone at LIU that had a program.
mm.
So two letters came in 1977. Two letters came into the mail for me. One was that I was accepted with transit. They were ready to get me started with work. And I was accepted at LIU.
Mm, mm.
So Long Island University. So I had to choose because I couldn't do both. So yeah, I consulted with my husband, of course, and I told him that I really want to go to school. And he said that I
Mm.
could. So, I did 1977. As
Okay.
time went on, I graduated. I went into the nursing program because the last thing that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was asking for was a hospital. And
Mm.
today I could see why he asked for a hospital because especially what happened with COVID. And then even today, like many of us don't want anything to do with doctors who, you know, are trying to push that shot
Yes,
on us.
yes, ma'am.
So I went into nursing. I did get the degree. I started working in the hospital setting, but I did not like the hospital. I did not like
Mm.
the way it was set up. It wasn't the way I thought it was because I knew how I thought nursing should be.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
went back to school and I got a master's in education. And then I started working at LIU. And that was the blessing. It was like Allah was blessing me every step of the way because once I got the job there, and it was in disability services, I was able to use my nursing background to work with the students there. But then in 1985, the minister had come to Madison Square Garden. So me and my husband went. And when I heard him speak, I said, I got to go back.
Mm, mm.
I gotta get back. And in 1977, I did hear that he was on Utica Avenue, but I was torn because I was either gonna go to school or to work, and then being that I went to school, it's like that needed a lot of my time, so I didn't get a chance to go to Utica Avenue to help
Mm.
out. But I did a lot of work at Long Island University. I did a lot of work there, helping a lot of students like Lamar helped you,
Yes,
helping
ma'am.
students get into college, guide their way through because I did become a counselor. When I worked on my master's in education, my concentration was in counseling. And so I did land a position as a counselor and eventually in time I became an assistant director of three disadvantaged student programs. And I
Mm.
was with them, yeah, from 1983 all the way up to 2011 when I retired.
Go ahead, sis.
So, all right, getting back to the prayer rug. So now, I made my way back. I made my way back in 1985, but I started at as Worlds Collide, which was on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that was where Brother Chris and his Brother Anthony, and
Yes, ma'am.
Brother Dwayne, or Brother Wayne, I think is his name. The
Yeah,
three
brother
of them
Wayne.
had a dojo, and Brother Hafiz, who was at that time um, was he was teaching in the back, so
Mm,
the
mm,
temple was in the back. So I started going there first, and then we ended up on Gates Avenue.
mm.
So so at least I knew I was back in the temple, and I was learning and looking around. I didn't see any of the pioneers that I came in with or that I knew from prior to 75. But then after after attending there, and this was what 785 when I heard the minister, then I decided I needed to go back.
Mm.
So, I did. I started going back, and then in 1999, I came full swing because now I'm done with my degrees. I'm working, and now I have more time, to go back to the mosque. So when I came back in 1999, I graduated on my mother's birthday, which was July 31st, 1999. May Allah be pleased with her, because she had departed at that time. Um, but anyway, so I was back in the mosque, and I was um, I was teaching sewing, hand sewing, and I was teaching Supreme Wisdom.
Mm,
Uh, I became Sister Jana Muhammad, who is our regional MGT captain now, had appointed me in the orientation
yeah.
class. I did orientation all the way up until COVID
Mm.
from that time. So now in 2010, when the minister had brought Dianetics, and we call it life repair,
Yes,
because the
ma'am.
minister told us to look at what L. Ron Hubbard is doing and look at his book and find the congruency between that and the teaching.
Yes,
Because he
ma'am.
said that we wouldn't have needed Dianetics if we would have, paid attention to the study guides. Okay, so anyway, I became a gold seal auditor,
Go ahead.
and now I'm the oh boy, it's like all these titles and names. The student the student Eastern Regional Coordinator,
Go ahead, Sister Phyllis.
auditors coordinator. So when I went into my first session, you bring up a lot of pain and everything, and one of the major pains was the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, ma'am.
Thing that bothered me the most was the idea of no more chairs, because no more chairs meant no more mosque,
Mm,
and no more temple to me as I knew it. And so every time I saw a prayer rug, it was like, I just get these feelings about it. And then even when we were doing prayer in our mosque, I would get on the prayer. I have a prayer rug. I even made prayer rugs.
yes, ma'am. Okay, go ahead, Sister Phyllis.
But it was just something about it that, bothered me. And I think it was from that time. So when I got audited, and I brought out all of my feelings and how I felt about it and what happened prior to 75 and all of the people that I knew and what happened to them and people falling and, people going back to drugs and people losing their mind and all of that I was seeing, I think was related to that prayer group,
Mm,
you know,
mm, mm, mm.
and so, I had to get through all of those feelings, before I could now not feel that way when I see a prayer row.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what happened, as far as that's concerned.
Beautiful, Sister Phyllis. All praises for I thank you so much. People are bearing witness all around the world, saying, "Wow, facts. This is so beautiful." Um, uh, man, the babies. Thank you, Sister Amina Hanan. Thank you, Brother Millard or Millard. That was the first lecture on Osama Rasul's Farrakhan I ever heard. Power Last in Madison Square Garden. Facts. Quanda Green. Oh, he sees her. Beautiful. Gregory Muhammad. This is Peace Original Family. Thank you, Brother Gregory. And Sister Amy Wright says you are a strong woman. Now, Sister
All
Phyllis,
praise Allah.
thank
Yes, sir.
man, thank you for your dealing with mental health and being so open. I pray that the sisters can reach out to you and audit you. I wish they had a brother, Sister Phyllis, like somebody who's as warm as you. I gotta get man,
'Cause
Sister
we do
Phyllis.
have brothers. We do have brothers that are auditors.
Okay, good. Shout out to the brothers who look at the Sister
Do
Phyllis
yes.
energy. Beautiful. All right, now I wanted to. Okay, boom. Here we go. Next, I wanted to go with Big Daddy Kane and his contribution to the Black Tie Gala fundraiser. Can you let us know how that came about?
Yes, sir. Well, his mother and I grew up together, you
Mm,
know, and I would be in her house, she would be in my house. So when we were older, as teenagers, we got older, we had children. And so I think he's about a year younger than my son Steve, my oldest son Steven.
mm,
And so, he would come to my house, they would go to his house and, he would, come spend the night and things like that. So he kind of became my nephew. Then,
mm.
he was getting it now at LIU. Like I ran a lot of stuff at LIU. I can't even I can't even talk about that on here now. But I ran that place.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And when Halloween came around, I said, no, these children are not going out. And if they come, they're going to get dressed up like people in Black history, because
Okay.
that's another
Okay.
thing I started on that campus. And so he, he came. So he came as Blackula. They had to come as someone Black. And so anyway, he's known to our family, so he's like part of our family. So
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
why you would see him at Savior's Day, and then this last Savior's Day, you saw that he was, on the up on the
Yes, ma'am.
rostrum, not on the rostrum, but up on the dais.
Yes, ma'am.
And he had called me, to make sure that I was okay. Did I need anything? Did I need a ride somewhere? But my hotel was like right close by, so I told him no, no, So, but that's how I know him.
Mm.
So one day we were in the mosque and we were talking about this gala that we're having. And Brother Salim is like, oh, we got to get on the phone, start calling people, So we had this meeting. This was like right after the meeting. He said, we're going to get on the phone and make calls and everything. So he was one of the first ones I thought to call. So I called him up. I put him on speaker so they could hear that, I got Big Daddy Kane on the phone because he answers my calls.
Yes, ma'am. Praise the Lord.
I was telling him, listen, we got this gala coming, but he had just come in from, I forget where, but he had just flew in and he said, I'm going to call you tomorrow and I'll let you know, and he did. He called and he donated, I'm not going to say the amount,
Yes, ma'am.
but it was a good amount to help
Thank
us.
you.
All praises due to Allah.
Oh, praise the Lord. Shout out to Big Daddy Kane. Yes, sir. The legendary artist that he is.
And hopefully Bernadette Stannis will listen in because I have sent her this information. I used to babysit her.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. But her cousins live in my neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Mm,
She's in Queens. But well, she actually came from Brooklyn, but then at that time they lived in Queens. And her mother, used to visit her sister, her mother's sister, and then she would leave her with me and my sister,
mm.
so I would have her around. But I had called her as well, and I left her a message and I left her a text, so hopefully I'll hear from her. You
Wonderful.
know,
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Shout out to,
That was Thelma from Good
Thelma.
Times.
Yeah,
Those
I'm about
who
to say I know her as
don't
Thelma, but
know.
yeah, shout out to Thelma. She's a great actress. Shout out to
Right.
Thelma. Yes, ma'am, for sure. All right. Now, Sister Phyllis. So the event, can you let us know the time, the date, and we're gonna let you share the screen so that you can promote everyone
Okay.
who's watching can uh show
Yes.
the QBR code so we can all support Brooklyn 7C in their efforts to get the mosque, and let's all support it. Everybody, let's all tap in.
Okay. You see that there's a QR code, everyone. Okay, so what we're doing at Muhammad Mosque 7C, we're at 202 Pennsylvania Avenue right now,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we've been there for 14 years. We were at 966 Fulton Street before we came there. Now, the thing about that place is that we were only renting space or
Yes,
time,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
not space really, because we were only there on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But we didn't have use of any of the other part of that facility. So we decided, listen, we have to get out of this place, because we weren't, we were growing, but we weren't really growing because we couldn't do other things that we needed to do. So Brother Salim, have found us, and Brother Henry, you have the Brother Henry, Brother Salim, and who else was involved?
Yes, ma'am. Sister Phyllis, can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, may we take the QBR code now so we can see your face again?
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, you want me to take it down now? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Please. I mean, everybody got it.
Okay. I pray everyone has it now. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we really couldn't grow in that place. I mean, we were growing, but not really growing at the rate that we could that we could have grown. So we went to 202 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's where we are now. And we've been there for over 14 years.
Mm, mm.
From the time we got in there 14 years ago, we said, we got to get out and get a building of our own. However, all of that takes time because, of course, we had to, pull everything together,
Yes, ma'am.
and, now we're at the point where this is Brother Henry's brainchild. This was something he said that he always wanted to do, was to try to have like maybe a gala like this to raise funds so that we could put a down payment on a building,
Mm,
because they
mm.
did venture out. Brother Paul, Brother Salim, um, Brother Henry, Brother Joseph. Those are the laborers.
Yes, ma'am.
Sister Tara. They all went out, trying to find buildings. However, you need a good down payment. And it's like we didn't have enough to put down because over time, like, buildings cost a lot. I don't know what it's costing, but I know it could be like around $5 million. It could be anywhere between $1 million
Yeah.
to $5 million, and you really need a hearty down payment for that. So we have money put aside, but we don't want to go to another place where we don't have enough money to put down. We want to secure a place. So I'm appealing to everyone who's listening to help us, because know that we're one nation. I don't care where we are, all around the country and all around the world. We're one nation. And this is for our people, not just Muslims in the Nation of Islam, but our people. Our people don't even really know that they're Muslims because, it's just, your righteousness makes you a Muslim.
That's right.
Um, but so what we're doing at Muhammad's Mosque is for our people. So we're raising funds in order to put a good down payment. Now, if this can happen for us, because all of you should follow this, if we can get donors, and get a building, and we come back on here and say we got the building, know that that can happen for you too. Especially, those of you who have mosques and you don't own the building, or you want a building, you get together with your laborers, and the laborers got together with the staff, and then we all said, okay, this is what we're going to do, so we
Yes,
all
ma'am.
were saying what we had to contribute. Many of us had contributed, so we, um, our funds were growing, and then we said, okay, we're going to do this gala. So the gala is on November 14th. It's on a Thursday. It's on a Thursday from 6:30 to 10:30. Brother Nuri is our keynote speaker. All
That's
praises
our brother.
to Allah.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you have to hear Brother Salim talk about it. I can't, I'm not as flowery as he is, but you have to hear him talk about what a good time we're going to have.
Yes,
And Brother
ma'am.
Salim was the one who was letting us know, we need to have something elegant, and sisters, you need to wear your gowns, and brothers, you need to wear your tuxedos, and if you don't have a tuxedo, at least a black suit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That
ma'am.
kind of fair. It doesn't mean that the sisters have to wear black, but the brothers,
Yes, ma'am.
wear black, and we're wearing our elegant gowns,
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead.
we're used to our uniforms and in our colors and all of that. But let's see what we look like, when we're in our elegance. So that's what that's all about. And then so we're raising funds, and this is how we're doing it. The tickets are $150 for registered believers in New York City, and it's $200 for like our families and and friends
Yes,
and
ma'am.
believers elsewhere. And you can buy a table as well. Like if you can buy a table for, well, I forget what that is. Anyway, I have to get back to you on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, so then this is how funds are coming in. We're going to be at the luxurious Anton's, which is in Queens Village, New York. And it's Antun apostrophe S. It's a
Yes, ma'am.
beautiful catering place. It's where people usually have their weddings, places like that. So we're going to have our event there on a Thursday. So make sure that you all, set up and ready to go. And I did have some last minute people that have paid today for it.
All
Now,
praises.
the other way that you can contribute if you're not able to make it is, for those of you all around the country, is that we have a, a souvenir journal.
Mm,
And the souvenir journal is coming together nicely. The brother Clifton is pulling it together. He's the same brother that put together the Sounds of Harmony, who were traveling around the country. And
yes,
if you have
ma'am. Yes,
a
ma'am.
playbill, look at that playbill. That's the playbill that brother Clifton did.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
we're asking for you to donate and take out an ad. If you have a business, your business, you can get a full page ad, which my son Steve and his wife took out with my BK Life, his wife Gina, and the full page ad is, I'm sorry, yeah, the full page ad just is $200.
Mm, mm,
Then there's a half page ad, which is $100.
mm, mm,
And then there's the business card, which is $50. But we also have a three-quarter page ad, which means like four business cards can fit on that page. But each business card would be $75. It's a larger ad, and you could probably add a picture and some words to it.
yes, ma'am.
And then we have for those who want to give and don't have that kind of money is for $25. You can wish us well, so you can do that for $25. Now you could do all of that on that QR code. Just make sure that you put in what it's for. Like if it's for a full page ad, if it's for the half page ad,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
it's for the quarter page ad, if it's for the business card is $50, and if it's for the well wishes,
Mm,
okay,
mm, mm.
$25. Okay, and I think we'll have a memorial page as well, but I would have to get back to you on that. I know on this is November 12th, Brother Paul will be on. So
Yes,
any
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
questions
Yes, ma'am.
that need to be answered, he will be on, and hopefully Brother Salim will come on, Brother Henry will come on, maybe Sister Tara will come on, and you have to get Brother James on. Brother James 15 is a pioneer. Now he's
That's
been here.
right.
You asking questions about Malcolm? He was here since Malcolm. So hopefully his wife, Sister Charlene, will pass the word to him
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
on the People's Podcast because that's a historian.
Uh,
As a matter of fact, he was the photographer for James Brown prior to '75. And remember the plane that we had, the jet that we got for the messenger was James Brown's jet.
that's right. That's right.
All praises due to Allah.
All praises to Allah. Shout out to everyone you named. I've had the honor of interviewing Brother James before, and so this will be a part two. So we got to get you back, Brother James, and of course, Brother Salim, and all of the other illustrious people that you named. I look forward anything that the People's Podcast can do. Myself and my family, we're locked in with the helping of the building fund, and any other fund that we can do to help the nation of Islam. And thank you, Sister Phyllis, for always showing love. Thank you, everyone who was sat in. I was going to read some of the comments. That's right. Um, this is beautiful. Thank you, Brother Randy Moses. Yes, please support Muhammad Miles number
Oh,
7C.
that's Sister Randy.
All right, Sister Randy. Sister Randy. Okay, yes, sir. Sister Tara or Tara. Sister Tara Tara says, greetings to our wonderful Muhammad 7C pioneer. Love Sister Tara. Sister Crystal. This is beautiful. Sister Dion.
Sister
Yes, please.
Dion. Yes, yes.
Um, a table of 10 is $1,800, which includes a free ticket. We're going to, Sister Randy Moss says we're going to look good. I mean, Randy Moses says we're going to look good. Sister Dion says yes, and all these diamonds. All the women are going off. That's right, Sister Phyllis. You represent. You go, girl.
All praises due to
All
Allah.
praise due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. The People's Podcast is you all's home. Anything that we can do, we're right here with you. We're locked in. And I just
All
want to thank
praises due to Allah.
Yes, ma'am. I want to thank you again. And when I told my father, student minister Sharif, that I was interviewing you, he said, let him, he told me, you tell me your last name. I'm like, all right, then, all right. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Anything that he can do.
All
So
praises due to Allah.
I'll make sure that, he's informed of the QR code and all that good stuff. And whatever the Southern region can do, We're
Mhm.
here. We one
All
family, one
praise to
nation.
Allah.
So
And
let's
I want
all
to thank you, Brother Joshua, because when I called you, I was calling for a donation.
yes,
I
ma'am.
didn't expect all of this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All praise is due to Allah. But
Praise
I
it.
want to say, like, we're in the rebuilding of our nation.
That's right.
And I know the minister is looking at New York.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're on our way because now we have A, B, and C. Um, but in Muhammad Mas number 7C, it's like we're growing and we're outgrowing, the mosque.
Mm.
We don't have enough space for the children. Prior to 75, we had space where, we had a Muhammad University of Islam in Brooklyn.
Mm.
So there can be more than one. We had them all around. Yeah, I think every borough had a Muhammad University. We want to get
Right.
back to that. And if we had 18 temples at the time, we could go beyond 18. So we're up to 3 right now. But we can't build a mosque without a home that we can call our own.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when we have to pay rent to someone and they tell us, okay, we can't do this and we can't do that, we can't really grow. But if we have our own home, then there's a number of things that we can do. We can have our businesses back. We can have our businesses in the mosque. We have a number of people. The minister said that we have all that we need
That's right.
to build this nation. The other day, our sign fell down. So that's like telling us something. It's like
What's
Allah
that?
saying, Brother Hafiz, back in the day when we were at 966 Fulton Street, and there we couldn't put a sign up.
Mm.
He said, a mosque with no sign is a sign of no mosque. So,
Mm.
that's why we had to hurry up and get out of there. We had to let people know where we are. So we have everything that we need. So I was just making a list of some of the things, some of the professions that people are in. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have medics, we have EMTs, we have auditors, we have herbalists, we have counselors, we have carpenters, we have plumbers, we have electricians,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
we have interior decorators, we have seamstresses, we have cooks, we have bakers, we have educators, we have professors, we have engineers, we have realtors. There's so much more that we have, in just New York City alone, because we renovated number 7. You should see the beautiful job that Brother Majid had done. He pulled the brothers together who were carpenters, who were laborers in those kind of trades,
Yes, ma'am.
electricians, and they hooked that mosque up. I mean, those of you who left New York and have not returned, come on back for a minute just to see what we did up at number 7. So we know that, that we do have the people that can, even if we got a building that needed to be gutted out, we can do that.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we're calling, anyone who wants to volunteer and help, volunteer and help, because we need this for our future. This world is falling.
Yes, ma'am.
You all see, nobody knows who to bring in office
Yes, ma'am.
because this world is really falling. Like, I don't care who came in, nothing, from the time we were brought over here as slaves, there was nothing really, done to help us. And it's still not happening. So everywhere, wherever we had to do this on our own strength.
That's
And with
right.
our people, we helped each other back in the day when we didn't have anything. Today, it's like we're falling apart. So we want to pull it back together. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wants our families to come back together.
Yes, ma'am.
We had a couple of marriages in our Ma 7C, and we do have families. And, families are really the backbone of a nation.
That's right. That's right.
So, we want to build our mosque. We want to get another mosque so that we can have more room to do those things. We need our school. We need a school in Brooklyn, and we need like we want to be able to do like Black Family Days. We want to be able to help people to build their businesses because we
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
where we can put like our barber shop and our beauty parlors and bakeries and supermarkets and all that. This is what we had prior to 75. And this is something
Go
that
ahead.
we,
Yes, ma'am.
and that's the vision that I have. I just pray that, that I live long enough to see it, because I am planning to live over 100, over 100 years of age. And I know what I have to do that. So all praise is due to Allah. I just pray that it happens in my time. But for those of you who are listening, we're just asking if you would donate, and help us out. And then the next time I come on, I want to come on to let you know that we put a down payment on a building.
All
Okay.
right. Go ahead, Sister Phyllis. Yes, ma'am. Beautiful. And Sister Phyllis, people are showing you love all around the world, bearing witness to you, ma'am, and to the teachings. That's right. Nation building. Yes, hand emojis and diamonds and all of that good stuff. Thank you to everyone. Shout out to the super chat as well. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you.
someone mentioned diamonds.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's we have a diamond squad. We
Okay.
started with being 55 years of age, then the age went up to 60 years of age, because you those who are 55, that you young. So, because diamonds, are like the elders, so
Mm,
then we
mm,
went to 60. And now Sister Jana is thinking about 65, because, we have Sister Harriet, who's in her 80s, who
mm,
flies up and down. You wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know she was in her 80s the way
mm, mm.
she runs around in that mosque.
Shout out to Sister
We have
Harriet
a
as
diamond
well.
squad. We have a pioneer squad as well.
All praises due to Allah. Salute to all the pioneers and Diamond Squad. Shout out to Muhammad Ma 7C, whole Eastern region. I wanted to also say, sister, what is the name of Minister Hafiz's wife?
Sister Lorraine.
Sister Lorraine. So yes, ma'am. Shout out to Sister
Yes,
Lorraine and
yes.
her family, and just let you all know that we love you and we're gonna continue to uplift the name of the
Oh,
great
yes.
Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad and all of his work and his family. Just let you know we love y'all and love every believer who helped to ever, if you ever put a bow tie on, or ever wore a headpiece or helped the nation in any way, shape, or form. We love you all and we salute you all, man. Shout out, to the whole Muhammad 7C and Muhammad number 7. Okay, two more questions for you,
Okay, yes.
Sister Phyllis. Yes, and they said Sister Phyllis is the best and all these diamonds and everybody showing you
All
love.
praises to Allah.
Sister Phyllis, what type of movies do you enjoy watching, ma'am?
I don't. Oh, I'll tell you. My sister and I, like, my sister lives in Philadelphia,
Okay.
and I had gone to visit her, and stay over for a while. There was a movie that was coming out, because I haven't gone to the movies in a long time. Prior to 75, we didn't go to the movies.
Yes, ma'am.
I hadn't gone to the movies because I don't really go out to the movies. But The Little Mermaid was playing.
Okay, okay.
So when she was telling me The Little Mermaid was playing, I'm saying The Little Mermaid, and it's a little black girl. So I said, "Oh,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
okay, I'm interested in seeing that." So I went to see it, and it's a cartoon, it's like
Yes, ma'am.
and when I was a little, I turned into a little girl again. And I said, me and my sister was sitting there together, and I think she was just watching me enjoying it. And it's like you had to put on those glasses, those 3D
Yes, ma'am.
glasses, and everything looked like it was coming to you. So I really like that kind of movie. But
Yes,
I
ma'am.
so thoroughly enjoyed myself. And then afterwards, it was like I just felt like ice cream.
Mm.
So she took me to the supermarket, and we got 3 tubs of ice cream.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, Sister Phyllis.
Good little girl time. Mhm.
Wonderful. So you're saying what they were saying under the sea. Everybody
Right.
get yes, ma'am. Beautiful, beautiful. My niece Asada and Milani, they both love the Little Mermaid. So yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
them. And Sister Tara saying they sending you love, and everybody just showing you love. But
All
I just want
praises
to let
to
you know
Allah.
that we salute you, and inshallah, we look forward to you coming back for part 3 and letting us know mission accomplished. The believers we support, and we everybody came through, and the sympathizers, everyone showed up and showed out. I look forward to seeing the pictures. So the Phyllis, I got to see the pictures. I wish I would have known a little bit, uh, had a little bit
Oh,
more time,
yes,
so I could
sir.
have pulled up. I would have definitely pulled up, and I wanted to come, but inshallah, I will come and visit when the end
Yeah.
result.
Oh, yes, sir. Please do. We need you back at Muhammad University of Islam too.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And shout out to MUI. I can't wait to meet the students in person and the teachers and faculty, staff, all of the good stuff.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And just shout out to everything. Now that I know that you like musicals, um, as an actor and a thespian myself, Sister Phyllis, I gotta get you and my family and your family. We all gotta go to Broadway and see. We gotta find a Little Mermaid on Broadway. We gotta see what we
Right.
gotta do. We
But
gotta
wait a
go.
minute. Wait a minute. The Apollo is having what is that? Bronville?
Bronzeville. Oh yes, man. You know Sister
Yes,
Margaret. You know Sister
yes,
Margaret's
yes.
gonna be up
And
there.
Brother Yaish, do you know Brother Yaish?
No, ma'am.
Brother Yaish is Sister Tara's son. And
Okay.
he moved from Brooklyn and went to Chicago. He's
Okay.
teaching math in Muhammad University of Islam. Um, as, um, as a matter of fact, Brother Shahid is teaching math at our Muhammad University of Islam
Okay.
on,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
on Zoom. But Brother Yaish is going to be in Bronville, and so Sister Margaret is bringing it to the Apollo.
That's
And
right. Praise be
there's
to
a
him.
show on Saturday, right after our event, the 14th, on Saturday the 16th. There's a show, I think, at 7:30, and then there's one on Sunday. Now, Sunday, I thought there were two shows, like at 2:30 and 7:30,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
I don't know if it's going to be two shows. I think it may be just the one at 7:30. So someone can, fill me in the chat. But
Okay,
Sister
great.
Sarah's son Yaisha is going to be in it. So.
Silas Sincere and her son. I've had Sister Margaret multiple times. She is the first musical that I ever was in was The Wiz with Sister
Hmm.
Margaret in Chicago. So
Wow.
yes, ma'am. So we show love, nothing but love to Sister Margaret Mockty and the production that she
Right. Yes.
did at
Yes.
the Apollo. And once again, I wish that I was there. Real soon, I'm
Just
gonna
when
be on
you
the East
mentioned the
Coast.
Wiz, when you
Yes,
mentioned
ma'am.
the Wiz, Stephanie Mills was like
Of course,
the
yes, ma'am.
first one in the Wiz. And I mean, I have brought, my sons, my husband and I brought our son, Stephen Lamar. And I mean, that was such a beautiful musical, the way it was done. And it was like that yellow brick road. They were very tall brothers, and I think they were on stilts, some of them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
They
ma'am.
were so tall, and they had these gold afros and
Mm.
yellow outfits. And when the Yellow Brick Road was singing, they were just going down the Yellow Brick Road. I mean, that stood out to me. So I don't know if Stephanie Mills is listening,
Shots
but
to yes, ma'am.
that yellow. I don't know if you all did that in that part of the Wiz. Like, did you have a Yellow Brick Road like that?
It wasn't our budget wasn't no like we was at MUI
Okay.
students. I think we might have had a yellow carpet, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and that people are showing love, and also may Allah be pleased. Speaking of the Wiz with Quincy Jones, the great composer who made the
Yes.
music for the
Oh,
Wiz, you know what I'm
yes,
saying?
sir. Oh,
So
my
much more.
grandson, Karan, came in this morning. He said, "Grandma," he said, "I was just listening to Quincy because he's into a lot of music back in the. He's 22,
Okay, okay.
and he has his own car. He has his own business.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, and he came in this morning, because he usually brings me a lot of fruit. And he said, Grandma, he said, he called me and he said, Grandma, he said, I was just listening to Quincy Jones. He said, and it came over the news that he died. I said, no, not Quincy
Mm,
Jones. It turns out that he's 91, but his family was around him, and all of that. And I said, wow, Quincy Jones. Like, I just, like when I think of him, I think of We Are the World.
that's right, that's right.
He had all of the, many of the actors and actresses and singers,
That's right.
in that song. And I mean, that's what stands out to me, that production.
You can't absolutely. And Sister Phyllis, recommendation for everybody watching. They did a thing on Lionel Richie did like a documentary on We Are the World on Netflix, and they
Oh,
did the
okay.
behind the scenes and all of how they brought
Yeah,
together, and it was just great to see all of those people come together for one common
right.
cause, like we are doing
Yes,
for
yes,
uh,
yes.
for the
And
Black
that's
Time
all it
there.
takes for all of us to come together. And
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
prove that this can be done.
All praises due to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Well, on behalf of myself, my family, and viewing audience, thank you again. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. We love you, Sister Phyllis. And thank you all for watching. Boom.